Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. Chapter 9. Who stole the tarts? Alice and the darkness were in a certain town. At tears, Alice. Whose seal is it? But no one answered here. It's real, said Alice. Whose trial is it? But no one answered here. The king or queen sat on their thrones. Many different kinds of birds and animals were there, and so the entire pack of cows. The near of a hare was sitting between two soldiers. The white rabbit was near the king with a trumpet in one hand and a roll of paper in the other. In the middle of the court there was a table with a big plate of tarts on it. This was Alice's first time in court of justice, but she already knew the name of most everything there from her books. The judge is a man with a big wig, she thought. The king was the judge, and wore his crown over the big wig. He looked very uncomfortable, and that's a very jury box for Alice. Those 12 animals and birds must be the jurors. The 12 jurors were writing something. What are the jurors doing? Alice asked an animal who was sitting next to her. They can't write anything before the trial begins. They're writing their names, said the animals. They don't want to forget them before the head of the trial. Stupid thing, said Alice rudely. But she stopped quickly because the white rabbit cried out. Silence in the court! The king put his glass and looked around. The judges wrote down stupid things. Some of them didn't know how to spell stupid. Now, read the accusation, cried the king. The white rabbit took his little trumpet and looked around. It felt very important because he had to read the accusation. Of a juror and the witness looked at him. First, he sounded his trumpet loudly. He cleared his voice and then he read. The queen of hearts, she made some tarts. All a summer day, the new of hearts stole those tarts and took them all away. Everyone listened to the accusation and was surprised. The jurors looked at each other, but they didn't say a word. They neither did you know what you would do or say. The king looked at them and was embarrassed, and said, Well, what do you have to say, Nenef? I don't know what to say, Nenef looked at his feet. There was some soft laughter coming from the jury box. Did you steal the tart? The king insisted angrily. I don't understand your question, said the poor knave, who was terribly frightened. There was more laughter coming from the jury box. Then, suddenly the jurors and witnesses were silent. What's your verdict? Said the king to the jury. No now, said the rabbit quickly. There's a lot of things to do before the verdict. You haven't called the witness yet. Very well, said the king. Call the first witness. The rabbit sounded his trumpet 3 times. The first witness was the hatter. He walked in with a marcher and a mouse. The other had a tin cup in one hand and a piece of bread and butter in another. Excuse me, your majesty, he said, but I didn't finish my tea. Why not? Asked the king. When did you begin? The other looked at the marcher. I think it was the 4th of our March, he said. The 50th, said the marcher. The 60th, at the Madame house. Write them down, said the king to the jury. The jury wrote down all 3 days and Bernadette them up. Take off your hat, said the king to the heather. It is mine, said the heather. When you stole it, shouted the king, and looked at the jury. The jury immediately wrote down this fact. I still had, exclaimed the header. But they were not mine. I am a header. What do you mean? asked the king. Your Majesty, I still had, only had, but the facts aren't mine, said the header, who was completely confused and didn't know what to say. Then you are a thief, cried the king, angrily pointing to the header. You stole it? The queen put her glasses and looked at the header, who was become very nervous. Give you evidence, said the king. And don't be nervous over the execution. We'll cut off your head right here. This did not calm the head at all. He continued to move around and look seriously at the queen. He was terribly nervous and confused and picked the big piece out of his teacup and knocked off a bird of the butter. Just when Alice had a strange feeling. I'm growing again, she thought. Don't push me, said Dormouse. Alice was growing, and there was enough room for both of them. What I can do, said Alice. I'm growing. You can grow here, said Dormouse. Don't talk nonsense, Alice angrily. You are going to. Yes, but I grow normally, said the Dormouse, not in a strange way. The header was still in front of the king, nervous and confused. Give your evidence. The king repeated, Your Majesty, I'm poor man, said the header. I had just begun to have my tea with bread and butter, and the header stopped talking because he couldn't remember anything else. Call the next witness, said the king. The next witness was the darkness cook. She carried the pepper pot in one hand. Everyone around her began to sneeze. Give me your evidence, said the king to the cook. No, said the cook. The king was worried and looked at the rabbit. You must ask the witness some question, Your Majesty, said the rabbit softly. Well, I don't want to do it at all, but I do it, said the king, who was tired. What are they made of? Pepper, usually, said the cook. Marmalade, said the sleepy voice. Send the Dormouse away immediately, shouted the queen. Off she said. There was a lot of noise and confusion in the court for a few minutes. In the head, they sent the sleepy Dormouse away. Oh, I never mind, said the king. Call the next witness. And he turned to the queen and raised the spear. My dear, you must ask the next witness the question, because I have a bad head hatch. Alice was extremely surprised when the rabbit looked at his roll of paper e called her name in loud voice. Alice! Ci vediamo al prossimo video, baci, Zia Ari!